So last week was we talked a little bit about barbecue.
Yeah.
And last week, I mentioned that I don't know that it was a dream, because the definition of dream is you sit around and, what if this, and it could be this and it could be that. So you're dreaming, but it wasn't really one of those things like, wow, that's something I really, really want to go after.
Yeah, but
so then you are
pretty dang passionate about your barbecue, though.
Yeah, but on a smaller level,
so I think
not on a business level, maybe.
Right, that's what I think there. Okay, see, he reads my mind.
Yeah.
So I think that you are extremely passionate about your barbecue and your cooking. You might not sell it, but the look on your face when people are enjoying what you cook.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? I mean,
you
like to achieve that.
Yep,
so
I like to achieve that.
That was a fun vodcast. Somebody said, "What's a vodcast?" And I'm like, "Well,
it's a podcast with vodka."
Yeah.
No, this is not. This is
no, this is water.
Water.
Truly,
is
water.
Is it regular water or is it sparkling water? I didn't see.
No, it's just regular water.
Okay, so it's regular water.
Yeah, we don't have our kitchen in here yet, so it's whatever's here, right? So
I saw this meme. I saw this meme with these two little old ladies, and one of them's kind of giggling with her cup like this, and the other one's sitting there. She said, "What kind of tea is this?" And she said, "Jack Daniels."
Like, ooh, JD, it's a new kind of tea.
No.
Do you brew that?
Yeah.
Like,
well, they do at some point.
It depends on what your definition of brew is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some news, and I would like to talk about dreams of travel.
Awesome.
Okay.
What's your news?
And I know that you can give to this too, because you guys have a dream to go to Spain, right? And they also have a dream to take their friends. So I'm really looking forward to this trip to Spain. I'm not saying they're going to pay for it, but they want us there. So that's great. That's fine. But your wife has inherited kind of a house, a modest house in the middle of Spain somewhere.
Outside the suburb of Leon, Spain.
Okay, so you know what we did yesterday? We bought tickets to Japan.
Wow.
I know. And so this has been a dream of my husband's for years. And when we first got married, he had just spent a year in Japan. Well, actually, it had been a couple years, but he spent a year in Japan as an exchange student. And he knew the language really well. He actually could write he could write better than a lot of the locals.
Yeah.
But I could say that probably about a lot of people with me, with the right way. Our vocabulary is just to our area, right? But when you're really into a language, you're going to grab as much as you can.
Yeah.
And that's Bob. And Bob has a memory like you wouldn't believe. But we kind of, I don't know, he wanted to go as a missionary. And so when we got married, I was under the impression, like, that's what he wanted to do, is like either pastor or be a missionary, right, full time. No. That is not the idea he had in his head. So, and no, he didn't play a switcheroo on me.
Right.
It was more of misunderstanding. I still would have married him. I don't have a problem with that.
That's good.
But he says, "Yeah, let's sell everything. This is the first. Yeah, I don't think so." We get married. He goes, "Yeah, let's sell everything, and then just get off a plane and see what happens."
That would be...
So what would happen if Sonia came up to you and said, "Look, let's sell everything we have and get on a plane and just see what happens?"
And see what happens.
You know what would happen? It'd be two people from America, right, taller than everybody else, wandering around the city with nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
One of them doesn't know the language and totally lost, and then has no money to get back home.
So you know me, I'm ultra detailed. So what would happen if Sonia dropped that on me is I'd go into hyper detail.
Hyper detail?
We've got to put all this stuff in order now.
You'd actually lay it all out and say, "Okay, here's what it is."
Well, like you said, you'd be wandering around out there, don't know where to go. Me, I'd be looking for all the detail. Where would we stay? What's next? Where would we be able to do this? Where would we be able to eat?
Well, but
how much would the
those were questions.
Yeah.
But I'm like, get off the plane and see what happens. Like, what do you mean? Like, because like by faith, just get off the plane and just see what happens. I'm like, okay, so I wanted to be a good wife. I really, really wanted to be a good wife. Now, if you'd say that now, I'm like, yeah, you're crazy, dude. But back then, I'm like, 23, just married. And I'm just like, okay, I want to be a good wife. So this is what I came up with. I will go wherever you go, Bob. I will go wherever you go. But I just want you to know, I personally don't have the faith to get off a plane and just, willy-nilly, wonder how it's all going to turn out. So that was it for him, and then we didn't go. And he didn't talk about it for like 6 months. Actually, he didn't really talk about it for years. But
wow.
Yeah, we were young and stupid. You know what I mean? At the time, you just have ideas about things.
Yeah. I knew a pastor one time though that said, especially in regards to something like that, he said, I look back over my life, and they've been married a long, long time, and he says, I found out that whenever my wife wasn't completely on board with what I wanted to do, it was either the wrong thing, or the right thing, wrong time.
See?
So it's, it's kind of interesting. I've thought about that, and I've kind of watched that with our marriage, because we're going to be, 37 years this year.
37. We're going to be 32, I think. 34 years.
And so, and looking back, you know what?
No, 32.
For the most part, I would say, one of those two.
It's 32. I keep saying 34, but it's 32. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like arguing about, what's the technical starting point? Is it this point, or is it?
With us, it was pretty much 32.
No, anyway. But no, so looking back and evaluating things, when I wanted something and talked Sonia into it, that turned out not to be a good deal.
No,
but
I can totally see that.
Things that we've come together on like that about when to do something, when it's there. Like moving to Pleasant Hill, for example, that was like
another dream to talk about.
Yeah, yes. That was just cut and dried. I mean,
but everything came together.
Yeah, but her desire was to be here as well, not just mine.
Yeah.
And if anything, I was the one that was getting frustrated when we couldn't find places.
Hey, we were kind of like, we keep driving 45 minutes to your house, and you drive 45 minutes to ours. Either we moved to Overland Park or you moved to Pleasant Hill.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's not do Overland Park. Pleasant Hill, that small town feel.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we wanted.
Yeah, we got that song too, so that's a fun song.
That's right.
And
so,
I know you talk about that. It's kind of a quirky song, but it's a cute song. It really is.
So corny.
Well, that's quirky and corny. Same.
I don't know.
Same word.
It's okay. It's okay.
But you know what? It's appreciation for our town. There's some things in there, though, that a person might not be familiar with. That, when we talk about songs on the hillside, that's a specific reference.
Right.
Not just a random lyric. And so there are.
It's just my Pleasant Hill. It's just kind of, I don't know. I like it personally, but I'm not sure it's it's kind of one of those things that sometimes you don't quite like a song and then everybody likes it, right? Like Billy Joel was talking about Piano Man. Did you saw that video when he was like,
that was great.
He's like, it's a limerick with a waltz. It's like,
yes, a limerick with a waltz.
I love how he put that. But back to Japan.
Yes.
So, man, Japan.
So when are you going?
We booked the flights. October 9th through the 23rd. And I did 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, we're going to be gone 2 weeks. Not only that, we're going to be gone 2 weeks, and I'll be teaching the next day when we get back. So that should be interesting. I'll be jet lagged. Yeah.
Anytime. So I know from experience, having married into a family with ties to Europe, that you don't want to do under 2 weeks at all if you're going on those long distance.
It's all right. So I think it was like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock last night. And it was, what was it? It's like 15 hours or something like that. I was thinking it was like the next day. Let me just put it that way. In the evening, it's the next morning there. So as we're wrapping up our evening, they're starting their day. So it's like complete opposite, right? So we're going to be flipped.
Yeah, I think Europe, I want to say Sonia said it's...
And it takes that long to get there.
6 or 7 hours, I think, is the difference when like if her dad goes over to Leon.
Well, yeah, Europe's totally different.
Yeah.
Europe
so
is
you're a lot longer.
It's going to be totally flipped. Yeah. So, oh goodness. So we got in touch with Tallow, and that is a friend of his from way back when he was staying there. He actually started going to church in Japan.
Oh wow.
Because of Tallow. Yeah. I know, right? Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought?
So we're going to hopefully meet up with him. I've contacted him. And I don't know. We watched a couple videos to see what it's like now and the to-dos. Oh, I got to tell you this. And this is something I really want to see. Okay? And I can't remember where it is. I'll have to look it back up. And now I'm trying to think of where it is because it's on the tip of my tongue. They have deer there, right? And in this park, there's deer. Just like we have deer here, in this park they have deer. And all these deer will eat out of your hand. They sell things to feed them. And they have trained all the deer to bow before they eat. like this. They do that. They do this. Yeah.
So in other words, they're yes deer.
Okay, that's awesome. I would have never thunk that up. That is really
dear.
cool. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Give me something to eat. Yes, dear. Yes. No. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, but I don't know. I don't have any concept of Japan. Now Bob does. This is Bob's dream. And he used to be really fluent, so he's going to have to start brushing up again. You know what I mean? But what's really funny is I think every one of our kids, except for Maggie, unless she's doing something I don't know, love Japan. And they have learned Japanese. And especially Nathan. Nathan really has been learning Japanese. I mean, hardcore. And Spanish. He just loves languages. So, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So they're all jealous. But it would be like $20,000 to take all them. And we wouldn't be able to do much because my kids are just like at war with what they like.
Yeah.
We would have to just get there and say, okay, you guys go do your own thing. And it would not be a family trip. And then to try to get a whole family from here to there, oh, we're going to go do this. And then it would just be terrible. So we're just going to do me and Bob, you know. So I'm ultra, ultra excited.
So you get to see all the stuff that he talks about when he was over. Now, what was he over there let everybody know, what was he over there the first time for? He
was an exchange student in college, and he went to Sophia University, and he also taught English over there, which is the kind of the stereotype of Americans going over there. I don't think they do that as much as they used to. Well, we have the World Wide Web now, where they didn't then. But basically, he, was an exchange student, and he took classes by a teacher that spoke Japanese. I mean, they didn't speak English for him. He had to be in these college classes and know what they were saying.
Very good.
So he was totally immersed. Totally and completely immersed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. I remember him talking on the phone with his friends. It was a trip, just, like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And then he would visit his friends in Columbia. He went to MU. He would visit his friends, and they were, all Japanese. And we'd go to the apartment and they were all guys. There were no girls. It was all guys. And they would all be talking. Every once in a while, I'd hear Connie. And I'm like, hey, what are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Right? So yeah, it was fun, and there was a lot of Japanese students at MU. And I'm like, why the Middle Missouri? I don't know, but yeah. So I'm excited. We're watching all the videos, trying to figure out where we want to go. There's this really old hotel somewhere. I mean, I don't know the names of everything yet, but they have springs, hot springs. And apparently you can't go into their hot springs or like the baths and stuff if you have tattoos.
Really?
Really.
There you go.
Now, very few
Wow.
of them. I mean, you can get a tattoo-friendly bath, but they are very particular about tattoos. And Americans are getting them more and more,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
fortunately, we have no tattoos. No tattoos. Did not do. I have earrings, though. Ears, deers, that's about it. That's all.
Yeah, that's something I've never ventured into
The tattoo world.
realm.
So
I
when you're in
haven't done-
Japan,
yeah, I can still go to a bathhouse.
to a bathhouse, or they have springs where we want to go. Hopefully, we can get in. You can have a private bath, but you still have to like wash yourself before you get in.
Yeah. Man, I remember, you know what, when I was a kid, if you went to a public pool around here, remember they used to, you had to go in and take a shower before you jumped in the pool in the shower room.
Yep.
I remember
the sweat.
Yeah, they don't enforce that so much, I've seen
I'm
lately.
kind of
but-
wondering if it really does much.
Yeah,
you know, I
right,
mean, I
right.
could tell if you. I
Right.
mean, I could understand. I'm sorry if you were rolling in the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I think
Probably not that big a,
they are really particular.
yeah.
Very particular, very clean, and the floors that they have, I can't remember what it's called. I like I said, you can go look it up. They have floors, mat things that they're very, very difficult to clean, and that's why you wear socks on
Right.
them. So that's why they take their shoes off. And I think it's just a thing, a respect thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's always fun hearing Bob talk about Japan, and he has a lot of good memories. I know
He
that.
does. He has a lot of great memories. They don't have a Christmas like we do.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then they have a New Year's Day. I think I don't know when it is. I need to learn a lot more about Japan apparently. But apparently he didn't know they closed down the whole country, and so he had no food that day. Right.
Yeah,
he
we
had-
used to. I remember as a kid, we used to here in this country.
Goodness.
But it doesn't anymore. Some do, but not.
I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. I mean,
Yeah.
because I can remember us shutting down on Sunday, and we didn't go out on Sunday.
Right.
Now, when I was a little older, as I was getting older, we gradually would, eat out after church or something like that. But now it's
Yeah, it's just
there are no church days. It used to be Wednesday nights and Sundays, but people don't want the church thing anymore. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. But the problem is
Well,
that was a good rest, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good, limited you on what your activities were.
well, and you always had your essential personnel that had to do things. Like your police and fire and
Oh, yeah.
medical and things like that. You've always had that,
But mentally, they always had days off.
yeah,
Like, they were like, okay, so we'll do Wednesday, my Sunday is Thursday or a Friday. So mentally, everybody knew what that meant, knew what it looked like. Now I think we're just so burnt out. We're just so burnt
and
out.
see, and that's so. One of the things talking about dreams when I was a kid, I used to watch trains and semi trucks and stuff. It's like, oh man, I wanted to work on trains, but my grandfather, he was a railroader and said, no, you don't want to do that. And so I ended up going into trucks, which my other uncle said, you don't want to do that either. But I did it for
You did
22
Yep.
years. But so it's funny you talk about, we're talking about that kind of thing. Well, it was the opposite in the trucking world. You don't know when you're going to be where necessarily. So whatever the holiday was, it was the nearest day you were at the house. So nothing was ever tied to
Yeah.
like December 25th.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Christmas, but Christmas was whenever I got home.
Okay, yeah.
And same
But
thing with
mentally, it was
birthdays
Christmas.
and yeah.
Mentally, it was Christmas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You did all the same things.
Yep. And so I mean it's definitely things are different now for sure.
And I mean, there are a lot of places, that I still would like to go. A couple of years ago, we went to England, so in Paris, so we did that. Italy, we were trying to figure out whether this was going to be an Italy trip or a Japan trip, and we're like, let's just do it. We wanted to be younger when we, flew that long.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then probably the next one will be something like Germany or Italy or something like that. I don't know. I think Italy is beautiful, but it's just so overdone. I want to go somewhere different. I just want to do something different. And I love, personally, when I travel, it's about the people. Where a lot of people will go, it's about the things, the mountains or not so much for me. For me, it's about the people. I want to meet people and see who they are. What's their culture like? What do they think? Right? That's what I'm interested in. And I think Italy would be great for that. I hear that Italians are very nice and hospitable. Actually, I met a Sicilian. Is that Sicily, right?
Mm-hmm.
In England, she owned a shop, and that's where she was from. And it was so interesting. She was just, I loved her. And I'm like, oh, I want to remember you. So.
Yeah, Sonia's talking about maybe we can get over to Spain a couple of years from now. But
yeah. And we've got that in our set aside. We're going to go to Spain.
Yeah.
Might hop over to Barcelona for a minute.
Yeah.
And then come back, but
well, I mean, everything's, smaller when I've been in all 48 states, and you're talking 3,300 miles across the United States or whatever it is. Over
True.
there, man, you can be from one place to another in just a couple hours.
Well,
and
I looked it up. Japan is 12% smaller than California.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You could probably stay there 3 months and see the whole thing pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So Spain, she has a little house there, right? And her family is there. And she was just there.
Yep, she was just there.
But it's different when you bring people you know.
And she was there on, selling estates, things like that. So it wasn't really a fun.
It would be fun to bring you guys to Japan.
Yeah, that'd be fun too.
I only wish. Yeah.
That would be fun too.
I wish we could make lots of money and just travel the world. But that's okay.
And you can help by buying. No,
and
just
you can
kidding.
help by subscribing and ringing that bell.
Make it sound like an infomercial.
And you can help.
And we'll give it to you not for $159, not for $59.
Yep.
We'll give it $9.99.
Right. So, what's your dream? What to travel? What country would you love to try? I would love to hear that. Wouldn't you?
And then
why?
And then like what we talk about, we've kind of tied this into our what started Dreams in a Graveyard, is where would you go? What's your dream to go there? And is it a dream that's enough for you to put actual steps to it? Because that's what brings it to pass.
Right.
Got to stay strong, keep moving along.
Right.
Focus on the goal. What's the goal? Well, how do you get to a goal? You make steps. And and whether that's like we're talking about cost, well, then you got to look at your budget and cut back on some things.
Well, it was either new furniture or tickets.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm like, heck
I've
with
been
the
to
furniture.
I've been to your house.
Japan.
Your furniture's fine. That's a good choice.
I'm like, this year, I think we're going to do a trip.
Yeah.
So, well, and if you're saying 2 years, Spain,
couple years,
that kind of hits it in a really good spot because I think we're kind of doing an on and off thing. So, like this year we did a trip, and next year we'll kind of stay home, and I know the building will be done in spring of 2026. So we'll be probably ready for a trip in late 2026. So we'll see what happens. I don't know when the best time is to visit Spain, but I do know this, that it's time.
The best time to visit Spain, I've got a reliable source.
Okay.
The best time to visit Spain is when the airfares are the lowest.
Well, yes, but I don't want to go in the middle of winter.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to.
No, I'm having fun with that.
I've heard about Spain and
Yeah, it
her
gets
freezing
chilly.
her tail off.
Yeah,
I think we should go like in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The house, well, see, July, their seasons are not, they don't line up with ours exactly.
Well, and we can talk about that
Yeah.
in our Patreon. So
Yeah.
I think it's time, like I said,
Yeah.
it's time to go to our Patreon. And so we'll wrap it up here with our YouTube people out there, our fans. And I really appreciate you coming. We really appreciate you coming and
Yep.
spending time with us.
Having
and
fun talking about dreams.
Yeah, we want to get to everybody to get to know each other. And we hope to have some people to interview.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where, so just looking down the road, getting some other people that have had dreams.
And fulfilled them, and
Yeah.
we will get there. I have a couple of people in mind, and we will also share some things, pictures and stories about Japan after we go in October. So.
Definitely.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Don't let your dreams